Hi Leo, happy March, welcome to the space. I'm Esme, this is Queer Witch Tarot, this is your March 2024 reading. I hope everyone's having a good March so far, and welcome. We're going to go straight into the tarot cards this month. Yeah, I'm feeling some excitement and apprehension and you're kind of on the verge of something happening, which is really exciting. Okay. So for March 2024, please, Spirit, let us pull some cards for Leo. Let's see what Leo is dealing with this month. Let's see what they're going to be experiencing. Let's see where they might need some guidance or some support. Interesting, Leo. So there seems to be some kind of decision making going on for you right now. There's some kind of project that is brewing inside of you, which you're creating, and you're putting a lot of time and energy and effort into it. And there's almost a call to reevaluate and just check in with spirit about what it is that you're making. You're somebody who has a lot of direction, a lot of creative plans. And for some of you, just need to kind of just check in a little bit. So, we have somebody kind of just looking over and observing everything that it is that they're growing and making. Obviously, be aware of what you have right in front of you as well. Make sure that you're bringing moments of gratitude to the space. But yeah, let yourself be observing and having a look at what it is that you're making. And just check in with spirit, check in with your soul, check in with your most loving life and see, is this really what's coming through me now? Is this really the thing that I need to be doing with my time right now? Okay? And let yourself come into this space of receiving answers. Let yourself tune into what happens if I open up my crown to the universe and ask questions for myself. A bit like doing tarot reading, right? This is what I do when I'm channeling and I'm reading, is I'm asking for things to come through so that I can support you and give you information and give you guidance and clarity and all of that stuff. So there's definitely a call for you to be doing this for yourself, Leo. So maybe some of you should be looking into divination, some of you should be looking into tarot and runes. Sticks as well is something which people do. There's lots of different things. For some of you, if you're new to the witchcraft path or the Wicca or the pagan or spirituality, any of that stuff, yeah, do some research and have a look at what feels really good for you. Chat with some people. My inbox is always open about these kind of conversations. Okay, so the first couple of cards which came out for you, actually, Leo, was the Seven of Swords, the Ten of Cups in reverse, and then the Hermit. So for some of you, obviously, you're quite a people person in different ways. You might be extroverted, you might be an introverted extrovert. You have a lot of time for social interactions, but then there's also definitely a call to be spending some time by yourself, having some boundaries with the world around you so that you can really sit down and get into what it is that you're bringing to earth. Might be really, really important for you right now. And also in that space of sitting with yourself, you're then able to give yourself all of the goodness that you like all the nurture that you might not get from social interactions. You know, there's this thing about self-love, and when you're connected to your heart and your sacral chakra, you can really and your root, and I mean all the chakras, when you're connected to your body, you are able to give yourself the nurture and like the gentle touch and the healing energies and frequencies which only you can give to yourself. So there's something about making sure that you're coming back to reconnect with yourself, and making sure that you're spending enough time by yourself to make sure that you're being emotionally fulfilled. If you're giving, like you're a giver, you love people, you're very generous, Leo. If you're giving a lot of time and energy and effort to the people around you, then you might not be spending time doing that for yourself. So this is a message to really come back to yourself, really come back into your body, come back into grounding yourself. And again, this card mirrors this energy so bad. It's like somebody has like lots of stuff coming at them, and the wands, you know, the wands are like life force energy, like spiritual energy. So you've got all these different like influences coming at you, and you're kind of at a point where you're trying to like battle them off a little bit. So where there's like external influences on your job and your career and your dreams and even your relationships, this is a message to actually say, hey, hold up. I don't want any input on this right now. Like, I love you and I appreciate you and I respect you, but I need to listen to myself right now, Leo. So yeah, very clear messages here. You need to be doing some of your own divination work and some of your own, like, you know, when you're bringing something new to earth, like when you were being made inside of your mum's womb, there was a time where it was just you in there being held and you're growing. So for some of you, you might be needing space from other people's inputs on your dreams and just actually be nurturing this thing by yourself. You know, we have the Magician card come through, which is very much like all these things, all this power that you have to create the world around you. Obviously, we work in collaboration with everything around us and everybody around us. But there are some things which you ultimately, you and your connection to spirit, your connection to source, ultimately make decisions throughout the day. So yeah, tapping back into that, tapping back into your connection with source, with spirit, with oneness is really important as well. And I guess also just recognising the power that you have, Leo, recognising that you're a bright, shiny light bulb of a person who obviously does get down. So sometimes you need to have space for yourself to just experience that and witness that and be with that, to then bring yourself up again without asking for things from people where maybe it's actually not the most authentic thing that you're asking for. I think this is where this card comes into play. This is the Seven of Cups. It's come out in reverse, so there's almost like a slight muddiness in what you're asking for from people around you right now. Some of you are maybe not acting from the highest good for yourself. Some of you could really do with just some time and space to be with yourself and be with your craft and be with your magic and be with nature. And that can be sometimes a difficult thing to bring into existence, but remember, you have the power to do that. And having boundaries with your outsides is really important. Some of you have this pride thing about keeping to your word. Your word is your word, and you can change your word, so long as the person that you've made this agreement with is also in agreement. You know, like you can say, hey, I've been thinking about this thing, or hey, I actually need next week off, can I please move these meetings to now, or can I move these meetings to next week? You know, like, give yourself some space, Leo. Give yourself and give the people around you like space to show themselves in a new way. You know, like, you're used to carrying the world on your shoulders. give it to somebody else for a little bit. And again, these cards are, again, just asking you to check in with what it is that you're asking for from life, Leo. I feel like some of you aren't maybe able to see the different aspects of authenticity. Some of you are asking for something just to make yourself feel good, but it's not actually the thing which would be best for you. Okay, so slight different conversation now. We have the Knight of Swords in reverse, the Three of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Page of Swords. So let's just get some further clarity if we can, please. It's something to do with like a quick decision, which in retrospect, again, maybe wasn't the best thing to do. It was frivolous and you thought it was going to make you happy. It was like a, you know, like shiny and good thing. It looked like the good thing to do. And actually, you know, maybe in the whole story of your life, it might have been really good because you now have some insight into the kind of thing that you want. But maybe ultimately at the time it wasn't the best thing for you to do this thing. Or there was like, you know, you overstepped a boundary or something. So Spirit, what can we say to Leo about this experience that they've had? This also might be that somebody else has done something to you or invited you into something which was quite quick. Yeah, what's going on with these cards, please, Spirit? Saying it's like the tip of the iceberg. So what is the iceberg? If you'll please. It's Judgment again. Maybe some of you are like questioning faith in some kind of way, like questioning what it is that you believe about life. I don't know if some of you come from like quite religious backgrounds. Maybe you're starting to question that, and maybe you're starting to find like a more spiritual path. That's very exciting. I understand that that can be daunting, but this way can also bring you into a really, really deep connection with like just the world around you, you know, like can bring you into a way of like intimacy that you haven't necessarily experienced before, because there's no rules, you know, like nature is chaotic, like the world is chaotic, and potentially religion is a thing of control and domination and abuses power. So, you know, maybe it wasn't the worst thing for you to have been part of or been like grown up in that kind of environment, because it's now giving you a position to like look at things a little bit clearer, or giving you a position to like look at things in a kind of religious lens, but maybe religion was actually showing you spirituality, you know? If you're here watching a tarot reading, I imagine that you already have some kind of aspects of spirituality. So the ones in the tarot are to do with like connection to power, connection to source, connection to like divination. It's very much to do with the tools in which we are able to understand life. So, you know, this person, the Page of Wands, is like looking at the very tip of that. They're looking at the very tip of their spiritual power, their life force energy, their chakra. They're starting to see things. They're starting to see reality in like a new way. And this can be really good. This can be, again, really, really positive, can bring you really like deeply into connection with the world around you in a way which might have been present to you through religion, but also, you know, there's a way of like, I don't know, dropping into things where there isn't a right or a wrong. You know, you can make agreements and you can also have a look at these agreements and think, are these really what I believe? Is this really the right thing for me? So the world has come out. I feel like this is to do with like reconnecting with your body in some kind of way as well, like reconnecting to what it is that you believe about yourself. Some of you are going through messages of like self-love or like coming back into nurturing self-love. And some of you haven't been sticking up for yourself enough. And this is maybe a time to do that. Maybe you're starting to recognize the power you have and actually see people eye to eye and be able to have a clear conversation with them. Some of you need to talk to your parents and actually assert some boundaries. Yeah, this message to you, Leo, feels bittersweet for this month, just in terms of this second section. So obviously it's an amazing thing to come back into your power, but there's also this like quite like deep difficulty or like despair kind of feeling. So we have the Eight of Wands, again in reverse, so you're really starting to recognize your internal power, and it's like maybe it's very overwhelming. You know, sometimes when we go through spiritual experiences, it's super overwhelming, and actually you might just need a moment to come back to yourself and, you know, just breathe. Let that experience go, like let that experience integrate into your being, and now look at life in a different way. Some of you might be feeling like, I can't believe I haven't experienced this before, like I can't believe I've been seeing life in this way, like why haven't I seen this before? Feels like there's some kind of like distraught, like painful energy, but it's like, it's kind of self-inflicted, honestly. Like as a Leo myself, or a Leo sun, I do see the whole like victim kind of thing where, you know, you're at the center of the universe in some kind of way, and then you can kind of create this whole like, oh, why me? Why me? It's like a poor me. If you've read the Celestial Prophecy, absolutely amazing book. It's like a poor me archetype. I suggest reading that book if you haven't. It's by James Redfield. So yeah, some of you are coming into new ways of understanding the universe and you're kind of a bit worried about that, or you're a bit scared of that. You have the Knight of Wands, which is in reverse, so this is a very natural part of your process and a natural part of your journey, Leo. Try not to avoid it. You know, like there's a kind of like go with the flow a little bit. Like some of you need to like learn to do this like tapping technique or something. I actually don't do it, but yeah, some of you need to come into some kind of practice of like settling yourself. Some of you need to like heal some things from your childhood with parenting. You need to like reparent yourself so that you can kind of guide yourself through this a little bit. Like it's a really it's a really good process that you're going through, Leo. I think it's good to find ways to make it easier for yourself to experience these things. So Spirit, any cards for Leo so that Leo can kind of go through this thing with a bit more ease, please? Any like messages for Leo to, yeah, just let it be a bit easier for themselves? So you've got the Page of Swords and then the the King of Pentacles in reverse. So there's some kind of like you're carving out a new way of thinking, and that does just take time. Like you do just need to be gentle with yourself, but also it's almost like you need to experiment a little bit, explore your thoughts. Maybe some of you need to do some journaling, some of you need to do some research. Like something's coming up for you, Leo. You know what it is. You need to like get your teeth into it a little bit and be a bit like curious. What is this thing? Rather than, oh, why haven't I been looking at this thing? You know, like step into your power now, come into it. What is this thing? I want to know, you know? And then you got the King of Pentacles, which is in reverse. So know that you have everything that you need in life, Leo. Know that you have your power. Know that you have love. Know that you are loved. And let everything else disappear. Like, what more do you need, you know? And this is a very generous card as well, the King of Pentacles. So, you know, don't be afraid to talk to people about these experiences that you're having, and, you know, ask people about it. Like, ask people, do you get this? Do you experience this? Yeah, it's a very generous card. So speak to people about things, like share with people your story. People might help you, people might be inspired, you might trigger something in someone else, and they might be able to actually show you how they go through that process, and then you might be inspired by that, you know? So there's obviously having boundaries with people, but also sharing, so there's a balance. Some final cards for you, Leo. Some of you have really got to let go of your overthinking. Like, you really need to let go of this overthinking. The swords of your thoughts. So some of you are really like nailing it in your head in a way which doesn't help you at all. So maybe observe that pattern and drop it. Observe that pattern and drop it, and just get quicker at dropping it each time. Don't get emotionally attached to these things. And then again, the Lovers. The Lovers just came up for Cancer as well. And this came up in reverse for you. Yeah. It's funny, there is something for you in like the creation story and the Bible, and something that you maybe need to look at. Maybe some of you need to look at it with like a feminist, like an intersectional feminist lens. Yeah. Okay, Spirit. Any final cards for Leo, please? This has been a really interesting reading. I've really enjoyed reading for you today, Leo. Okay, your final card is the Hermit. Take it easy. Hope this has been of service to you, Leo. Yeah, speak to you soon.